I've been eating roughly 500 grams of carbs and sugar every single day for the last couple of weeks, and I'm actually getting leaner. I actually ran a version of this last summer. I didn't document it, but I just tried it on myself. And what happened changed how I think about fat loss completely. So this time I'm going to do it properly. I'm going to do it for 90 days and document absolutely everything here. So let me explain what's actually going on, because a lot of guys they try to get lean and they keep making the same mistake, not eating too much, not lazy, not undisciplined, but they're mixing the wrong fuels, high carb and high fat in the same meal, and they do that for every single meal every day, right? Pasta with olive oil, eggs with toast, beef mince with potatoes and cheese on top. Now it sounds clean, but actually it gets you nowhere, and there's a reason for that, and it's called the Randle cycle. Now, your body runs on two fuels, that is glucose and fat. The problem is that they compete. So, when you eat fat and carbs together, both of them are in your bloodstream fighting for the same oxidation pathway. So, fat wins every single time. Fat then blocks glucose oxidation far more than glucose blocks fat. And that asymmetry is the whole game. So the fat gets stored, it gets stored efficiently, almost effortlessly. But meanwhile, your glucose oxidation is impaired. The thyroid then takes a hit, and then cortisol creeps up, and your metabolism slows. And you wonder why nothing's changing despite eating well and training hard, right? It's not the calories, it's the fuel competition. So, like I said, last summer I ran this quietly myself. I didn't have a camera, I wasn't documenting it, but I just switched the protocol and paid attention to what was going on. I dropped the fats right down, I kept the carbs pretty high, like I said, 500 grams plus even, and separated the two fuels throughout the day. And honestly, within weeks, like my waist was noticeably tighter, my energy was more consistent, training performance stayed exactly where it was. And that last point matters more than what anyone can really realize, because if strength drops during a cut, you're essentially losing muscle, right? That is not the situation you want to be in. But mine didn't move. I got to the leanest I'd been in years without restricting calories, without going too low carb, and without feeling like I was actually dieting. That was the best bit. So this time I'm being very deliberate about it. Like I said, 90 days, I'm going to document it. So that kind of looks like waking up super early, 5 a.m. I'll walk through the countryside before I've eaten anything. So that way I'm fasted. I've got that low insulin. And this is where we get into that fat burning. So I'll then come home and eat. That'll be orange juice. I'm having loads of orange juice, have that intra workout as well. But it will be maybe a little bit of low fat yogurt, maybe some collagen, some fruit, honey, salt, and that's it. So it's very low. In fact, it's no fat, just literally carbs and protein. That way, my liver glycogen is restocked, the cortisol comes down, and every other meal is similar, like 5% beef mince, boiled potatoes, raw carrots, right? Nothing else added. This is another thing as well about getting in shape. It's just rotating through meals that you really enjoy. Just find 3 meals that you really like and yeah, keep smashing those. But anyway, I'll train 3 times a week, high intensity, low volume, and I'll go to absolute failure. And on training days, like I said, I'll have an intra workout orange juice that keeps the blood glucose stable, stops cortisol spiking, and then that'll protect the muscle. So I'm honestly no calorie counting whatsoever, no weighing, just separating the fuels and letting biology do its job. So anyway, I'm just over a week in now. I am getting leaner every week, which is awesome. It's not dramatically, but it is noticeably. And my energy is consistent, right? I'm not getting any afternoon crashes. My training performance is absolutely through the roof. Like I've got that love for the training again. And yeah, the food is simpler than anything I've really eaten before. It's just the same kind of 3 meals rotating, no decisions, and I just smash it every week. But yeah, this is the cool part. Like it's not a typical calorie deficit. I'm eating probably over 3,000 calories on training days. It's not low carb. I'm eating more carbs than a lot of guys are eating in 2 days. And this is just physiology, right? The Randle cycle has been in, I don't know, biochemistry literature probably in the 1900s, but we've just forgotten about it. I believe a lot of the bodybuilders had tremendous success with this as well. So keeping the fats quite low. Obviously not too low because we want fats for like testosterone and hormones. But the idea is we're not starving ourselves. You stop confusing your body. I started this at around 13% body fat, and I want to hit probably around 8-9% by late June. So I'm going to document all these 90 days here. But if you've been eating well, training consistently, and not really seeing the results, the Randle cycle might be the thing that you've actually been missing. But thanks for watching, guys. I'm going to put a load of time and effort into these. I've got a new camera now. So yeah, excited for you guys to be here. See you in the next one.